James here, Hasmo Outdoor Products. Today's video, we're going to work on getting our trolling motor wired up. We're also going to get the wiring in for our Helix 7. We're going to tie it all into our lithium battery. We're just going to put a little breaker in, get that all wired up. Not too elaborate, but I want it to be safe, and also where I can quickly disconnect the Helix 7 and the trolling motor to take them off the boat when it's not in use. Okay, all right, we're going to go ahead and peel this casing back a little bit, score it with a razor blade. Strip these back. I'm going to use the razor blade to get this started with too, because it's a little heavier casing. Same thing here. Okay, there you go. You can see both of these wires is corroded up pretty bad. They're black. So we're going to do a little trick, try and clean these up. You can see there. Got a little cup here with a mixture of salt and vinegar in it. I'll put that down in there. Stir it up real good. Just use the wire to stir it. You can see it's starting to clean it up already. I'll do this other one. Just let that acidity of the salt and the vinegar will strip that corrosion away. Okay, we're going to set this aside and just kind of let it keep working. You can see it's looking a lot better. About to get something we can solder to, but I'm go ahead and prepare my other ends. This is going to be our connector. Let's go ahead and strip it down. Okay. Alright. Get out some of our heat shrink and go ahead and put that on. Just spread these apart a little bit. Just like this. We're going to fan them out before we solder it. Okay, now we have this piece of scrap wire. I'm going to pull a few strands of this out. Okay, that's going to be good right there. Make sure you get all the excess salt and everything out of here. You want all that out, because that's going to continue to be corrosive if you don't neutralize this acid. Alright, so we got about most of our salt out. All of our salt, actually. Okay, this next little cup I have here. Now, this next cup that I have is baking soda. Baking soda actually will neutralize the reaction of that acid that I just put on there. Okay, that's in there nice. Wipe it down. This last little cup is just rubbing alcohol. What this is going to do is just dry up any moisture that's in it. The black wires, I'm going to shove these two wires into each other, just like this. See how much surface contact we're getting with this? I shove them in there. Take this piece of scrap wire. I'm going to start winding around this thing. Winding it really tight. And there we go. That is a good strong connection there already with no solder. See this? I'll trim off this excess. Work my way out. Just like this. Come back around another time. Okay. See how nice that looks, and man, that is a good solid connection right there. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do before I solder it, I'm going to coat this thing with some rosin flux. That'll help that solder flow. Soldering tip's good and tinned up. I'll coat this thing pretty good. This literally takes a lot less heat than any other method, and you don't melt your wires up and everything else. See, that's just sucking that solder right in there. That's good. You don't want it pooling up on top. If you tried to do this any other way, it was going to just pool up. And there you go. Looks like we're done here with that. Okay, our next step is I'm going to go ahead and cover these connections with some heat shrink. After I do that, I like to put a couple more coats of heat shrink on it. Okay, that final piece, just a nice long piece that's covering everything. Several layers of heat shrink on there, and this is as good as it's going to get. Okay, the idea is this is going to be a little short piece of cable to right here. I'm going to mount the breaker right inside here like this. Okay, here's the breaker that I plan to use, and I'm going to use these little crimp connectors. Once you see it's in there, just clamp it down. Crimp this one. There's our two matched ends. Not too bad. Quick disconnect. Our trolling motor right there. That'll work fine. That's probably about what we're going to need there. There we go. These are the cable ends we're going to use. Okay. There we go. Something like this. Something like that over here out of the way. The last thing we have to wire in, power for our Helix 7. Ring connector on each end to connect it to power. I'm going to trim these off about the same length. Strip this one back, strip the power back. Alright, so blue on blue. Hit it pretty tight. Make sure it's in there. That one's good. Okay, on this one, I think I'm going to choose to solder it. That'll be our best connection. The way I'm going to do this is just I'm going to wind this around. Okay. Just going to pre-temp my tip. This will solder up pretty quick. Good, just like that. I'll pull our heat shrink over that. I'm going to put a ring connector on this one. It's yellow, so we're going to use our yellow. And our crimper. It's all the way in there. And crimp it down. Got all of our cables ready. Our battery cables, trolling motor quick disconnect. I also got to just tie all this together. Okay, the only thing we got left to do is figure out where we're going to mount our breaker and our ground terminal. Okay, I'm going to mount this out of the way right here. Good and tight. Let's go ahead and get our negative terminal for our battery put on. As you can see, we got everything hooked up. Everything's wired up. Hit the power button for Humminbird. Perfect. Trying to get this thing ran from the front of the boat to the back. It's really not a good way to hide wires in here. What I did was took some of these crimp connectors, peeled the plastic off and flattened them down so that a piece of so that I could slide a tie wrap through there, cable tie through there. You see, put our first cable tie on this nut right here. Here's what I decided I'm going to do. I'm going to drill these rivets out ever so often. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there you go. Final cable holder. Okay, what I'm going to do, drill a couple holes in the trolling motor bracket, and then I'm going to loosen this nose piece up, scoot that up, and feed my wires up through here. Tied up in here, out of the way. Things wired up nice and neat. Tie wrapped out of the way. Looks pretty good. I like everything out of the way where you're not going to trip over it when you're trying to fish. Okay, the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to install our transducer on the back of this GNU. I'm going to just drill 2 holes in the hole right there. I'm going to fill it with some 5200 or something. After thinking it through a little more and deciding what I'm going to do, I really want this thing right here. About where I'm going to mount it. I'm going to mark my 2 holes at the bottom. So in the event that it's not in the water far enough, I still have 3/4 of an inch that I can slide it down and get it the angle, get it level. So it'll give me a little bit of room by using those slotted holes. And you just got to keep an eye on them once you mount it, that it's not moving around or anything. Whoever was the previous owner of this boat, they liked 5200 as well, but apparently they like to slop it everywhere. They made a mess with it in several places, especially on the back with this jack plate when they we're going to back these off a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. I think that's where we're going to position we're going to go in for right now. Okay, now we're just going to bolt this down. I think we got everything the way we want it. That bunk's going to be a little bit of an issue when I slide the boat all the way forward. I made use of an existing hole in the hull to screw the tie wrap in. Okay, to eliminate the possibility of our transducer running into that back bunk, I'm just going to do the easy thing and slide this back. It's kind of a little front heavy as it is now. It's not going to hurt to scoot this back some 3 or 4 inches. Just tighten these bolts back down. Out. We're going to have to place that rope, I think, sometime soon. Spot we wanted in. As you can see, it's not resting on the bunk or anything. The transducer, we got a little bit of clearance there, just like what we want. I think it'll be fine. Okay, I think that's going to conclude our video on wiring this GNU up. We put in our trolling motor, wired that up, wired up our Helix 7, wired up the transducer, showed you how to mount a transducer. James from Hasmore Outdoor Products, I appreciate you watching. Join us on the next one. We're going to probably be working on this GNU some more.